one. I don't stop it, meaning like
neutralize
it.
Yeah,
no,
neutralize.
I don't even think what they. In my opinion, with Josh Allen, they legitimately stopped 3, and one of the successful ones they forced a fumble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
stopped there.
They were great at that. I think they can stop it once, and that's big. You know what I mean? Because this team goes for this on 4th downs, not only on 4th downs, but stopping it once is like forcing a turnover in those spots. And
28 first downs on 34 tries for Jalen this year. So
right,
only been stopped
and
6 times.
some of those that they go for it, they're not even really. I bet some of those 6 where they didn't get it, it was like 3rd and a long 2, and they're like, we're gonna do it, and then do it again. So I think the combination of the Chiefs, everybody knows Chris Jones is great, but the Chiefs have other, I think, underrated D tackles, plus Steve Spagnuolo with 2 years to think about how it was successful against them in the previous Super Bowl and what they would do. Yeah, I think I give them as good of a chance as any team in the league because of the coaching and the personnel.
I agree that it won't be like the Bills, but if the Eagles run 4, the Chiefs, I could see stopping them once.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, let's keep it real. The Bills really don't know how to do the tush.
Well, they don't push.
No. We know Josh always goes left, but one of them at the goal line, he like kind of paused. It wasn't really even a tush push. He kind of paused and then ran to the left more than usual. So that was bad. But also, like you said, when the Bills did it, you got Ray Davis back there kind of like giving Josh a little shove. Whereas when the Eagles do it, they line up with 2 guys behind Jalen, and they really push him forward. You got the offensive line, you got Jalen going forward, and then the guys behind him are pushing him. The Bills was darn near, it was like a glorified QB sneak with a little extra something. So I think the Eagles are obviously the kings of this. And I think they'll have success, but I could see the Chiefs stopping them once.
It'll be interesting to see what Spags has cooked up for this, because I think this is going to be a crucial play in this game. If they stop it one time, if the Kansas City Chiefs have success with this one time, and that one time happens to be the first time,
early.
If they shut them down from the goal,
you're going to then see Kellen Moore and cast members like, what are they going to do off of this? Because now, are they going to run it again because Kansas City has stopped them? You just want to put it in the back of your opponent's mind, this isn't a freebie. And they've done that already. Like, clearly, going into this game, the Philadelphia Eagles are thinking the same thing you just said. We're not the Bills. We invented this. We created this. We do it the way we do it, and nobody can stop it. So when you have that type of arrogance and a team meets you where you are and cold, hard stops you, it makes you question it for a moment.
Okay. Let me stop you right there. You longtime listeners, watchers of this channel will know that this exact table right here had this conversation about the tush push after the game against the Jags. And they all went around saying how it was solved and that they're in trouble and that they're not going to be able to keep doing this. And Greg's like, yeah, they're going to have to change. He goes, I think they'll find another way because they have to. And Nick, and they all went around. And I was like, guys, what are you talking about? Stop it. You know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And like, we just got a new variation of this right now. When we say words like unstoppable and dominant, you know, juggernaut and all this type of stuff in sports, like it's all within reason. You know, we essentially really just mean great and amazing and awesome. But we've seen the tush push get stopped. We've seen it slow down. The Eagles tried to do it. I think, you know, even this playoff, you know, it might have been against the Commanders. I forget, you know, whenever it was when they tried to go for a 2-point conversion and it got stopped. Like, It is a wildly successful play, but the Eagles have seen it not work before. So even if the Kansas City Chiefs stop it in the very beginning, it's not like everyone's going to be like, "Oh my God, we've never been stopped before. Like what are we do?" Like they're acting like it's like, you know, when a superhero goes up against a villain and they lay their big punch, and the superhero like catches the punch, or vice versa, whichever one it is. When the superhero finally gets like that extra power, now the ball, you know, the big bad villain is like punching, and he just like stops it, and the villain's like, oh my god, like what changed? Like that's what they're trying to act like would happen, and the answer is no, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, so even just stopping it one time is not like, well, that's a major victory. Oh my gosh, you know, like that changes everything. No, it's not. No, it's not. So, you know, we could just stop with that. Okay? Yes, if they absolutely neutralize the tush, because again, even against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think technically it was stopped, you know, multiple times, and that's what made them have this whole conversation. Even though technically, like, it was stopped, but technically it wasn't, because we could see the ball go across the goal line. Like, I remember having to unpack that. I don't remember exactly how it all unfolded, but that was when Sirianni was getting booed for going for it for like twos and, you know, and stuff like that. So again, this is more just like extra nonsense, honestly. It really is. And, you know, again, right, to compare it to what the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, like, I don't know what that was, quite frankly. I mean, like, they may as well just give me the ball and say, hey, man, try your best, because that's what they did for Josh Allen. I mean, like, it was actually uncomfortable to watch what the Buffalo Bills did with Josh Allen against the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, it was legitimately uncomfortable. And so, you know, do I think it'll be a big part of his game plan? I'm sure it will. To me, the real question is like, obviously, if the Philadelphia Eagles, if it's like 4th and 1 and they're on their own 40, like that's the example that I kind of keep using in this game, because I think there's a great chance if it's like 4th and 2, 4th and 3 for both teams, and they're both like on their own 40. Like I see the Chiefs going for it. I see the Eagles going for it. And again, of course, especially if the Eagles are 4th and 1. And so, yeah, if it's 4th and 1 and they're on their own 40 and the Kansas City Chiefs stop them, that is a big stop, obviously, right? Because now it's just like, you know, you're pretty much all but guaranteeing at least a field goal. So those things do matter. But this whole idea that if the Chiefs stop them, that it's now like, oh my gosh, what do we do? This is a disaster. Yeah, as fans will feel that way. Fans will feel that way, I'm sure, because it's always unsettling when your team gets stopped in those moments, just like we see when the Chiefs get stopped, just like what we see when the Commanders get stopped, the Bills. It's kind of like, oh man, but we're so good at that, because we saw the things where it was like pretty much the Eagles, the Bills, and the Chiefs were all nearly identical with their 4th down conversions, and then you had an actual 10% for the Commanders, actually. And so those teams have obviously been stopped before. And so anytime you're watching any of those games, again, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and you see them get stopped, it's always unsettling, because you're just like, oh, I'm not used to seeing this. But the team itself is not like, oh no, mayday, and like red flashing lights are going everywhere, and they're just like, what do we do? And like, you know, they're just like spiraling out of control. Like that's what they're pretty much trying to paint here, and that's why I'm giving that pushback. Yes, as fans, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, no, they just stopped you. Now they have the ball at the 40, and like the next tush push that they have, you're gonna be like, oh come on, man, please get it, and you're gonna be all scared and nervous. The players are just gonna be like, yeah, man, they stopped it. All right, this is not 100%. Let's go. And they're going to want to do it again. And they're going to be, here we go. You know, or they're going to have another play up their shoe. Because then what's also going to drive me crazy is against the Packers, they did like a fake tush push. And they did a throw to A.J. Brown. And let's say the Eagles do that. They're going to say, oh, it's because the Eagles were afraid that the Kansas City Chiefs were going to be able to stop it. And it's like, well, were they afraid of the Packers? Like, huh? You know, like, no. And I think they did it. I think they might have done that twice against the Packers. They did it again, I think, earlier on in the season. I forget exactly, because I think they said, oh, they should have saved that for like in the playoffs when it mattered more. I forget exactly when they did that, when they had some sort of like, I think Jalen kept it and ran. I really forget. Or if they tossed it to Saquon. I really don't remember, because I've only seen them really do it kind of like that one time or so. I can remember that one time, and I don't even remember exactly how it unfolded. So if you guys do, let me know. And then I remember the A.J. Brown throw against the Packers. So again, they always try to make up narratives that don't exist. Like that's what kind of drives me kind of crazy, because we know the Eagles are not 100%. I think they're like 83% or something with those conversions, which is obviously amazing. And in football terms, yeah, it's unstoppable, right? But it's just like we literally saw, even in the last handful of games, them get stopped with it. So stop trying to act like if the Kansas City Chiefs stop it, that it's going to be this big, massive statement of you can't do this against us. Like, that's what's so frustrating. Or if they do something slightly different, it's because they were afraid of the Kansas City Chiefs when we saw them do it literally versus the Packers, you know, in the first playoff game. Like, stop with these fake and phony narratives. Because again, this table right here against the Jags, and I just don't have the strength to go find that clip and be like, let's watch what they said before, because I just remember being like, it was a bunch of nonsense. They were literally saying that the tush push is over now, that they're just no longer successful at it. And because of that, from that point on, you can actually even see on my notes, I write now, because of this, you probably can't see it, TP, tush push, and I keep a little mark of what it says, so I can be like, see, because I keep receipts. I am the literal receipt keeper. So I will literally like, yeah, right, you guys said it wasn't gonna work. Well, it worked 3 times. And oftentimes when it does it a whole bunch of times, then I just kind of stop keeping track, because I just say, well, it clearly worked. So I don't know, man. This is just, next week's gonna be wild. Next week is just, because this is gonna be the same conversations all over again. And we're, you know, I'll have them, I'll do them, but it's just, I don't know. You know, it's just so frustrating, because I'm going through first things first now, and all of these clips right now are all about essentially how the Eagles will lose. And again, I think it's and sorry, Eagles fans, I think it's obviously a real possibility that the Eagles can lose this game. I really, really do. So it's like, I'm not out here saying, no, man, Chiefs have no chance, and they'll never stop the tush push. 42-7 Eagles. Like, I'm not saying any of that. But it is just a little sad that everything is constantly, you know, constructed in a way that the Eagles are just this, you know, little girl lost in a well. And they're just like, excuse me, is anyone there? Can somebody help me? Please help me. And it's just like again, like what are we doing here? It's just absurd. I mean, it really is. And it's just, I don't know. I can't imagine, you know, that you can have such a lack of respect for a Super Bowl team. You know, I mean, even if the Kansas City Chiefs end up winning this game very convincingly, you know, they win 42-14 or something. It's just like, this team was the best team in the NFC. They got by everyone. They took care of business. They dominated the Commanders, who dominated the Lions. You know, they beat the Rams, who with Matthew Stafford, who Nick Wright says is an all-timer. You know, they beat the Packers, and last year the Packers rolled the Cowboys. And because they even said, oh, well, the Packers rolled the Cowboys last year. Eagles better look out. You know, oh, well, the Eagles got lucky with those fumbles. Oh, then the Eagles got lucky in the snowstorm. And then the Eagles got lucky again against the Commanders with the turnovers. Like, it's just, you know, you're just constantly resisting giving any actual, real, unbiased breakdowns. And I don't know, man. You can be a massive Kansas City Chiefs fan and still talk about all the positives about the Eagles. Or you can still talk about all the ways how you think that the Eagles can still beat the Chiefs, or, you know, what their path forward is and all of that. You can look at things from kind of both angles. And, you know, again, kind of like I was talking about with some people in the comment section, like, in a lot of ways it's good that they can't do it, because then it gives me the room to be like, you know, pause, let's talk about this, right? Like, let's talk about this. So yeah, you know, I guess thank you for being so close-minded and being so zoomed in that you can't see, you know, past your own face. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Kansas City Chiefs being able to potentially stop the brotherly shove? Which I also know a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans do not like the word tush push. They like brotherly shove. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.